We would like to welcome you to Satyn Mag Suite Career Development Initiative and being mentored and also sharing knowledge and expertise and experiences and insights is vital in this journey. And so, joining us as we celebrate International Women's Day on this special Satyn Mag Suite initiative is Ramani Samarasundera, Group Chief Marketing Officer for the CIC Group. Ramani is no stranger to marketing. She has been with many multinationals and in many areas and has a lot that she can contribute towards mentoring younger women and also sharing her insights on her journey, which undoubtedly are many. So, Ramani, nice to meet up. And we would be, I think all of us would be interested in some insights from your journey and some advice and tips that you'd like to share with younger women, especially those who are climbing the ladder of success.
Yeah. So my career has been essentially in marketing, and now I think close to 30 years. Started as a management trainee, and so have kind of, my largest stint was at Unilever for 20 years. So I worked across MNCs and local companies as well. I think, one of like a big thread that has enabled me to kind of build this career, a few things are there. So I don't have 3 or 4 points, but maybe let's see. So I think the first is a good support structure, right? I think so. When I talk of support structure, it's not just a kind of sustainable support structure at home for your family. You also need to kind of onboard and have a good support structure with your team, with those who are kind of supporting you on that journey. And I can't stress enough the importance of that, because there are times that whilst I have always strived to be like 100% at work and 100% at home, there are times that you can't do that, right? And then you need to ensure that the next best care solution or the work solution is there. Secondly, I feel that I know sometimes we will bitch and say that, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. No? I know sometimes we will say that, women don't necessarily encourage other women, right? Or if you have a woman boss, you'll think, oh my gosh, I have to deal with this lady. But in my experience, having a really good, girl power, again, another support structure. But I think that's really important because not just because they are a shoulder to cry on, because they will encourage you, they will challenge you, they'll be there for you. And I think that's very important. And sometimes I find, in today's, and they needn't always be from your workplace, right? But I think sometimes today, young, aspiring career women, time is really difficult. And to balance that becomes a challenge. But I think it's important to kind of build those relationships. It's important to build that network of a few close people that can kind of carry you through some difficult days. Because they will also, like this whole initiative that Satyn is taking, at a, very close to home kind of way, those girls will also inspire you with their stories and encourage you with how they would have handled something. So that other perspective, I think, really helps. So I would really encourage, young women today to very, decidedly kind of embark on creating that, group for themselves. Yeah? Those who have worked with me and know me will know that, I probably tread middle or more the other side of aggressiveness. Yeah. I'm a more kind of, I'd like to think I'm a more empathetic kind of softer kind of leader. And I want to tell, the women out there that you can do it that way as well, right? You don't have to be, you don't have to talk like a man, you don't have to behave in that kind of aggressive kind of tonality. there's a reason why you are in a team. There's a reason why an organization decides to kind of bring you into management. There's a reason, a part also from your work ethic, that you kind of, get into the doors of a boardroom. So play that role, yeah. Play that role, and don't be kind of, unashamedly play that role is the kind of advice I gave, right? Because if you don't kind of bring that empathy into that boardroom, then nobody else will. If you don't kind of, try to engage and bring that creativity, then, who else is going to be there? If you also kind of try to be cloned like your kind of male colleagues, then the richness of that team, which they expect you to kind of contribute to, you miss out on doing, yeah. And because I think, the other kind of, as a young, I think in my formative years as a child or so, I kind of learned that. But I'm a person who always believes that there are many ways to kind of reach a given destination. So give that space, for yourself. You don't have to mimic somebody. There is no one right way. There are many right ways, right? So immediately you do that, you have a kind of, it liberates you to say, I can do it differently. And I can have equal or better result in doing it differently. So those are some things that, have really sustained and enabled and helped me to kind of, be who I am, and, still balance and manage the many roles. Yeah,
I think those are great points, especially the one about where women need to be women, and we can still play the role far more effectively.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the challenges that you have had to overcome, which will bring insights in your career as a mother, as a wife.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the challenges on the home front as a mother. So there have been the sports meets that I have not been there. There have been the birthdays I have not been there. But equally, I can kind of put my hand up and say, there have been the business discussions that I have chosen not to be there because I had planned a holiday with my family. So I think, that balance, when you talk about balance, the balance can't only be balance or trade-off on work, home for work, right? The home must also feel that there are times that you are trading off work for family and home. Yeah, I think that's important as well. If you look at the kind of challenges from purely from a gender, from a woman's perspective, I would really encourage people saying, I feel marketing is a really nice canvas for kind of women to. It complements a lot of, I think, innate skills and competencies that, women have. It gives you that canvas and the flair to kind of do that. So from a industry and a work point of view, I don't think I have kind of faced a lot of challenges like that. Of course, you will have kind of differences and debates, and sometimes women kind of take things personal a little bit. Sometimes you think, sometimes as mothers and women, we like to kind of ensure there's balance and peace, right? And so when there is friction, it kind of creates, tension and stress, right? But I think, those are things that, irrespective of gender, you have to kind of be able to appreciate and, be part of, and yet, walk away from a meeting, with no hard feelings, etc. Yeah, personally, I have not kind of faced any discrimination or, unfair favoritism or, against me in that sense. I have been fortunate, I think. God has blessed me with, good spaces and workplaces and bosses that have, given the space to kind of work. So I think I appreciate that.
Tell us about, Ramani, a key issue that keeps coming up is guilt. How do you deal with the guilt of having that perfect balance? A lot of women have had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And the coping mechanisms have always not been good.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the issue of guilt?
Yeah. So, so there's a couple of stories, and I think we all are inspired by stories. So I still remember there was this girl on my team. She also was a younger sibling of 2 daughters. Her mother was a doctor, and we were on an outbound training. I had just come back, I think, after maternity or a few months later into the second month, and that was that real time. Really not sure. It's very overwhelming. Can you manage? Therefore, will I have to give up my job? So a lot of those, and it was a sharing circle, and I actually shared, that I was worried and anxious that I will have to actually give up this job, and I think I broke down also emotionally. So this girl, she shared with me saying, that her sister and her, she were both very appreciative that her mother, was not in the house, that the mother was working, because there was pride that was created in them. The mother brought the outside world to them. So that was a real point of encouragement for me, right? The flip side of that was, so my younger daughter, actually for my older daughter, I left Unilever for a year. I said, I'm not sure they'll come back. And then I rejoined them, right? So I had that year with her. But my younger daughter, I just had the standard maternity leave. And of course, from year 1 of her life, I've had a helper at home. She's still with me, so she's been with me now for 22 years. And, there were those really heart-wrenching moments where she'll get up in the night and she'll call for the nanny, She'll say, Nanda. And then you will think, oh my gosh, where is my role here, right? So I remember those very kind of distinctively. But there were equally the times that, she will want to be with me and not go to her. So you just cling on to those and you let go of the the stories you don't want to remember. But, at that stage, that's why I said you have a separate structure of second best. So, I console myself saying at least the child loved to be with this nanny. So, obviously, she must be caring for her and loving her well enough that she wants to stay with her. Yeah. So, not easy. I guess it's good to have a supportive kind of home environment and a spouse. But I think it's important for women to have that economic independence. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I tell both my daughters, whether you get married or not, or, whoever you get married to, you must be able to stand on your feet, right? So just because you have a child, there must be a plan. It's all right. I did that, so I can't tell people not to do that. I took a year off, but, there is much more than your children's life that you can contribute to as a person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and there is, 10, 15 years later, they are not going to be part of your life. Absolutely. And then you will regret and say, I could have done much more. So I think it's important to find the balance, right? So I don't also, I know friends who kind of, have those CCTV on their phone, so they're checking out what is the nanny doing, has the child been fed properly. I don't also necessarily endorse that, because if you are, you have to be mentally at peace. You find a structure, you hand over and you come, because if you are going to micromanage that, as much as you shouldn't micromanage at work, you have to have that comfort to let go.
Absolutely.
So yeah, those are some of
I think I totally agree with what you say. One is being economically independent, and the other is that you are also a role model to your kids.
Yes.
That they look up to you for what you've given.
Yeah. I think that's That's important.
So anything else, Ramani, that you feel or you think women should know as we enter yet another International Women's Day?
Yes.
And usually many don't think beyond the 8th of March.
Yes.
These are issues that concern us every day.
Yes. So I mean, also, recently we won some consumer visits also, and we came back and we were discussing the different types of women we had met. And everybody said, oh my gosh, that is the kind of vibrant workforce that's out there, but that's not part of the workforce, right? Women are so industrious, they, but so much they sacrifice, so-called sacrifice for the children. Yes, they sacrifice because is it safe for the child you have to go to pick up the child from the van, you have to ensure the child eats well, you have to ensure the child does homework, but in that industriousness, I think there is much more than women can do for their own development of their home and community and the country. So, I mean, I think we have to support women to be able to go out.
And to be able to give back.
That's right, yeah. I think, so...
And I think workforce contribution. Yeah. I was reading the other day that Japan actually wants women to come back to work. Because they have a shortage. And I'm sure 56% are women.
Yes. So also, I'm again very fortunate because after I left Unilever, which is almost 10 years ago, I have in these last 10 years been working a 3-day week, right? My husband will say I get paid for 3 days and work 5 days. But, not many people have that flexibility. So I think that is also a way that you can draw women into the workforce. If you find flexible ways to kind of engage them at all social levels, have all different skill sets, So some people might be able to come and work half a day, or some people will be able to come and work, weekdays or whatever. So I think as a country, we must look at how we tap into that and how we embrace that and how we, liberate that energy of women
it's just
for
that
this
we
country.
Are stuck in the systems
That's
that have always been there.
Yes, yeah.
So thank you, Ramani, for joining us. And as we present this to you, we will be also talking to many other mentors. And we hope that you have a great International Women's Day and continue to check us out as we bring you these insights from mentors and all the other information that you may need to build up your career. Thank you.